this year.
The new midsize Oldsmobiles were not in early for 1973, as a labor strike delayed them long enough that models slated for 1972 came as 73s. All GM intermediates were new for 1973 and were referred to as colonnades, denoting their center posts, columns, or pillars. There were no hardtops. What makes this 73 Oldsmobile Cutlass unique and different enough that it deserves a minute or two of our time is that it has a manual transmission. All right, so you might be like, so where's the floor-mounted shifter? It's on the column, believe it or not. This is a column-mounted 3-speed manual shifter, also known as a God's Green Earth 3 on the tree. I know this looks like an automatic, but this car is locked in reverse. First gear is down and out, second up and away towards the dash, third below that. There are 3 pedals down there too. I know they're hard to make out, but they're there. Clutch on the left, brake in the middle, and the gas on the right. I was perplexed by this too, and then I checked this brochure for 1973 Cutlasses, and sure enough, the standard transmission on a 1973 Oldsmobile Cutlass is a fully synchronized 3-speed manual with column shift. A synchronized manual means that the gears are spinning at the same speed, so when you shift, you won't grind the gears. Manual transmissions are one thing. A 3 on the tree is something else altogether. These things were an anomaly even when I was a kid growing up in the 70s. My only experience with one was seeing my friend Andy's mom rowing one in their 1967 Buick Special station wagon. I was slack-jawed at the amount of work the poor woman had to do to keep the car moving. It seemed quaint and old-timey at the time, and we are talking 50 years ago. Good grief. Chrysler is given credit for pioneering the steering column-mounted 3-speed shifter when they introduced it on their 1939 Plymouth models. Shifters were always floor-mounted up until then. GM, Ford, and other manufacturers quickly followed suit with their own 3 on a tree. Incidentally, automatic transmissions wouldn't appear en masse in cars until 1940 with, ironically enough, Oldsmobile and their high-dramatic 2-speed that was also available on Cadillacs. And just like the internet, you thought automatic transmissions were always around, but that's simply not the case. Even Cadillac owners back in the day had to row their own. It's open for debate what the actual benefits of a column-mounted shifter were. Their linkage was more complicated than a floor-mounted shifter that connected directly to the transmission, and with the driver constantly rowing the tree, if there was a middle passenger, they'd have to sit far enough away from the driver to enable the driver to swing their arm wide enough to make the shifts. Not unlike with a floor-mounted shifter. Again, with the benefit, aside from, perhaps in theory, the middle front seat passenger having more legroom, not sure. Seems odd now, but steering column-mounted manual shifters were quite common in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. They began to wane, though, in the 70s. Fun facts, the last GM car to feature one was the 1979 rear-wheel drive X-body Chevrolet Nova. This diagram is from a 1979 Nova owner's manual. Chrysler's last models to have a 3 on the tree was the 1978 Dodge Aspen and Plymouth Volare. Legend has it the larger Dodge Monaco and Plymouth Fury also had them. Good luck finding one of those. Ford also offered it on their all-new for 1978 Fox Body Fairmont, but discontinued it afterwards. Not only was 1973 the last year for a 3 on the tree for the Cutlass, but it was also the last year for a 4-speed manual to be available on the performance-oriented Oldsmobile 442 model. Along with these scanned photos and even fewer details, the poster of the ad for this very rare 73 Cutlass with a 3 on the tree is asking $8,900 for it, along with the requisite "will not respond" to "is this available?" They say it runs great, although they don't say why they didn't back it out of this garage or storage facility to take more photos. That $8,900 ask seems like a lot. Frankly, I think it's insane, but believe it or not, this is priced below market. This is screaming to be resto-modded, but the cost of admission, in my opinion, is almost as absurdly high as a 3 on the tree was in the early 1970s.